So in case you didn't know, that is Wanted Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi, and that's what we're going to be working on in this lesson. So the trickiest part about this tune, it's pretty obvious, it's the beginning, which is played a lot throughout the tune. The intro comes back throughout the tune several times. Other than that, it's really just 4 chords. So we have a D, so we need a D major. We need a C add 9, which is like a G. If we play a G chord, but we use our pinky on the 3rd fret and our 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the E and B strings, then you just move these 2 fingers down. That's a C add 9 chord. And then you got your G. We're gonna need that G too. So we have D, C add 9, and G. Then we're gonna need an F bar chord. F major bar chord, root on the E string right here. If you can't play that chord, or, really, it's kind of just a power chord. Because most of the time in the song, they're really just hitting the lower notes of that chord. So you could get away with just playing an F power chord there. That's it, just those 4 chords throughout. So we really got 3 parts. So first let's take a look at the intro. So the intro uses what's called a pedal tone. We've talked about this before in a previous lesson, if you've viewed that lesson about pedal tones. And basically a pedal tone is when you have a root note ringing out while other notes are moving against it. So in this case we have our D string, ringing throughout all those little changes. So what we start with is the 14th fret G string, 13th fret high E string. So we hit our low, or our D string first, and we go down, down on the G string, and then down on the high E string, and then we come back up and hit the G string again. So we got to skip over that B string. That's the toughest part about this part. So down, 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 up. And the pick pattern is the same throughout this whole intro piece. Then we're gonna do the same thing, but we're gonna go 12, 12. So I'm using 2nd and 3rd finger like that. Then we go 10. So we have 14 and 13, 12s, 10s. Here we have the same kind of shape as the first one, but it's 9 and 10. So we have then we hit all the way to the 5, so 5 on each string, then 4 and 3. Okay, so we have here we hit the 4 again and slide it back to the 2 and then hit the 1 on the high E string. So it's like that. And that's that intro part that sounds so cool. And you do that twice. Now, the second time you hit that D note a little, like an 8th note before the next bar. So listen, this is the first pass. I don't know if you noticed that. So you hit it like a little bit, you push that note just before the downbeat. Okay, so we get that down, then we can take a look at the next section, the next part of the intro, which is so what we have there is that little riff. So it's 2 hits on the A string, then the 3rd fret of the A string, slight bend, then open D, 3rd fret D, another slight bend, back to open D. Then you're going to play a D sus2 chord. So you play your D major chord, take your 2nd finger off. And then we're going to do this little arpeggiated pattern. So it's E string, B string, D string, or G string, and then B, G again. Like that. So you can just leave these fingers here and play that lick with your 2nd finger. That's great, because then you don't have to move much. So you do that 3 times. On the 4th time, it's just, and then F, D. And then we start into the verse. So whole intro, nice and slow. And then that's where now the vocals will come in on the verse. Okay, so the verse starts with a D, then our C, so that's one pass through the verse chord changes. So let's take a look. So we got our D chord. So we do 2 downstrokes. Then we have this little melody within the chord. And that's just, you put your pinky down on the 3rd fret of the high E string. Downstroke, then take your pinky off, upstroke, you're playing your D chord. Then you take your 2nd finger off. So we got and then you put it back down. So it's is the melody. So down, up, down, 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 up, down, down. That's the D part. Then we go to our C add 9 chord. So we do 1 downstroke, 2 upstrokes. Then a downstroke going into the G major chord. And then 2 upstrokes on the G major chord. So it's on each of the C and the G chords, it's a downstroke, 2 upstrokes. So it's, so we got, and then we have this little lick. So it's it's an open A, hammer on the 2nd fret, A string, then D string, G string. So it's like that. Then the C again, G again, lick again, and then this time it's G, F, D. And then he does like a little arpeggio on that D before it goes back around and starts the chord changes again. So let me play that real slow where we're at so far. Here, when you get to this D, he does something different really every time. So I'm just going to give you an idea and you can play around with it, but this works every time. So I'm just arpeggiating up, E string, B string, G string. Then I'm doing a little hammer on with my 2nd finger on the 2nd fret and hitting the 3rd or the B string again. So, verse again. Then we do it again. It starts again. It does 2 times through the verse. Again, same thing. Now we're into the chorus. The chorus starts with the C. Same thing. Down, up, down, up, and then riff. And then we just go F, F, D, and then our arpeggio. So it's, chorus goes. And then again. Now, the second time after you do the riff, it goes. So that's 3rd fret, open D, 3rd fret D string, and then we do our riff. And then it does that again, C, and when you hit the whole chord. So let me go through the whole chorus. And this is the same the first 2 times. I think later in the song it changes a little, just the arrangement of it. But then you can let that ring out. And then now you have all the parts. You have the intro, you got the verse, you got the chorus. So then it's just a matter of putting it all together. So after that, I believe it goes back to the intro. and then it's another verse. Verse again. Chorus. Okay, and then I think we go back to the intro again. Let me check the chart that hopefully you have open with me here. Yeah, intro, and then it goes into a solo. So the solo, the rhythm part is the same as the verse. So you just play verse material 2 times around like normal underneath the guitar solo. After the guitar solo, it goes straight into a chorus. It's like a partial chorus. It doesn't do the entire thing. It goes... pauses there. It doesn't do the, and then it, we have a little build up on D going into the last verse. So that chorus is, then we're into the last verse. So that build-up is just a bunch of 16th notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, so it's like 2 bars basically, or a bar and a half. So we have another verse then after that. The next chorus, similar, it's a little change because it just kind of rings out at the end. So the last chorus... and then it goes into the intro at the end. That's the only difference, really. They're pretty much the same. In the last intro, you're going to retard it a little bit. And then just end it on a D major chord. And that's it. That's the whole tune. So, trickiest part really is just that intro, the pick pattern, and skipping over that B string. And then, you know, getting some of the rhythm stuff in here. Getting that lick in there. You don't have to play that lick every time. You could just... I mean, you could simplify it, you know, if you need to. If you can't, but it sounds cool to have the lick in there. So that's it for Wanted Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi.